Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Thursday, guys. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. Got a word for you. Tap in. So, guys, I want to read the email really quick. It's short, a very short email, and I'm going to respond to it. Hi, Kizzy. My name is such and such. I absolutely love everything about you, and I mean everything. Well, thank you, sir. However, I struggle with alcoholism. It is very refreshing to listen to you amongst other women who are not constantly man bashing. I've heard you said several times that women and men have issues, that accountability is rare. I know men are not perfect. Thank you for recognizing that the struggles in the world are real. Thank you for recognizing that both men and women need healing. I went through a very bad divorce about 15 years ago. I'm going to take accountability here. I am the cause of that divorce. However, it does not exclude me from the pain and the trauma of my ex-wife leaving. I developed an addiction. It started off very innocently as a couple of my boys and I were hanging out, and then I realized that the alcohol was numbing the current pain. Then before I know it, it started to every weekend, then progressed to every week. I'm now a full-blown alcoholic. Any tips of your wisdom will be appreciated. Thank you in advance for not judging me. Hey, sir. Well, thank you for trusting my opinion, all caps, opinion. And you're absolutely correct. Men and women have issues. I know, again, there's this narrative that's going around, and they're literally trying to, and this is deeper than we think, but they're trying to separate, right? Black men and black women, et cetera, et cetera. Again, I'm not against interracial dating, et cetera, but there is an agenda, and a lot of people are really blind to this, that all of a sudden, well, never mind, that's a whole different recording, but we all have our stuff. Yes, I can give you 10 things that's to the top of my head that some men need to really change and work on. And I can give you 10 from women. I'm a whole woman and I can give you 10. Trust me. But here's how I am. And I've decided to live my life like this for the last, 10 years. We got to get to the point where we start trying to change people. Yes, holding people accountable, working on and polishing our flaws is very important. However, some things, some people may never be able to change about themselves, or even if they change it, right, they may revert back to it because it's their default setting. So versus trying to change people, I think it's more about putting things on the table, right? Okay, here's my stuff, my flaws and all. Here's my vices. Here's my deal breakers. Here are 5 things about me that's probably going to annoy you. Like, seriously, like first date type thing. Put everything on the table. Not your whole life, but you get my point. Put everything on the table. Okay, you're honest enough, you're transparent enough to say, hey, this is my deal breakers. This is my vices. Here we go. Now you have 2 individuals who have their stuff on the table. Okay. Nobody's trying to say, well, you have to change this. You have to change this. You have to change. No, this is something that I can't tolerate. So I already know that this can't go any further because you said you've never been faithful and you got a whole sex demon up over here. I ain't got time for that nonsense, sir. But I'm sure you get the point. The point is, we all have our stuff. So it's about accepting or not accepting what works for you, what not works for you. Okay. Bless you. I want to honor you and give props to you for taking full, all caps, full accountability for your demise of the marriage. Okay, you didn't come on saying 1,000 things that your wife did, couldn't do, didn't do. She ain't giving you no sex. You gonna like you didn't make any of these excuses. And maybe there were some things that you could have said, but you didn't. You took accountability for your actions. That's rare, sir. That is rare. So I hope you applaud yourself for that. That also states your maturity level and where you are in life. Many addictions, that's exactly what happens, right? This is why I am very patient with people who struggles with addiction, because there's this misconception where people just want, and not just alcoholism, right? You're talking about cocaine, you're talking about crack, you're talking about meth, you're talking about heroin, which are, of course, way more intense addictions. You're talking about cigarettes, you're talking about sweets, you're talking about food addictions, right? Porn, sex. Addictions are addictions, but yet you have one addiction group of people who want to beat someone else down, but you got a whole addiction. You have a gluttony addiction going up. Well, so how are you sitting here judging? Right? We all got our stuff, but many times that's what happens. That's what happens. It sneaks up on you. Also, it can be genetic. So if you were to go and try to dig back, right, if anybody is honest enough to admit that they struggle with addiction, many times it's probably somewhere in your bloodline. So because you were hurting, okay, so some people don't even realize that alcohol or the drug of choice or the food, whatever they pick up, they didn't pick it up thinking it would, quote unquote, numb their pain. Right? The pain was there, and then when they took the first whatever, it's like, whoa, wait a minute, I don't feel no pain. And so now, because that pain was not addressed and expelled properly, which is a process in itself, then you just keep doing whatever to numb that pain. Okay? At this point, it's still a choice, because of course, there's this constant backlash about if addictions is a choice or a disease or a choice. Okay, I think it's both. I think it's a choice to first pick it up, and then it turns into a disease for some. See, a lot of people are not perspective thinkers. It's almost like, well, my husband cheated on me, and I ate such and such, and I picked up this, and I didn't get addicted. Well, your body chemistry may be different. Maybe it's not genetic. There are so many different factors here, but people always want to look at things from a one-sided point of view. Oh, well, both of us were raised in a household with crackheads, and I didn't turn to be a crackhead, so why are you a crackhead? Well, there's different things you have to factor in, right? We all deal with things differently. Everybody have a different perspective. Everyone is not as strong as others. Some people take to it when others are completely turned off from it. But I think it's unfair to try to compare two or more people who've been in one household to say, well, I didn't do that. Well, you're not me, right? That may have not affected you like it affected me. We're different. So it was a choice to pick it up. It was a choice you've already heard stories about, you see full-blown crackheads all day long. So why would you even chance crack? Sadly, there are some people who didn't even make that choice. It was forced on them. Let it be somebody slipped something in your drink. Now, I have a friend in Charlotte, North Carolina. He's very, very, very successful now. He's a mature gentleman, but when he was much younger, I think he said late 30s, early 40s, something like that. Like he can listen, right? This is why we connected so greatly. He marched to the beat of his own drum. Like when he walk in the room, you're going to know he's in the room. Like he's in a lane of his own. He don't see nobody else. He's just a really raw, authentic. And if you're not confident in who you are, he's going to rub you the wrong way. Because when he walks in, he's going to get the woman's attention. Like he's just that dude, seriously. But there's a lot of, and can dance. Like literally, I'm talking about dance, not no twerking. I mean, wouldn't be twerking, but he can really dance. He's smooth all the way around. So what happens many times that causes jealousy with a lot of people. That's why I tell people people don't realize how dangerous that spirit of jealousy is. People want to sometimes just think, well, this person is jealous. I'm just going to make you jealous. Yo, you stay jealous. You got to listen. You got to be so guarded and so protected and so private with your life when you are somebody who you tend to rub people the wrong way for whatever reason. You got to guard your life. Some people feel like, well, they can be jealous. They can still come to my house. They can be jealous. They can just be around and see all these blessings. Honey, I don't want you around me. You're bringing more warfare upon yourself that is not necessary. I don't want you anywhere in my space if I know you don't like me. It's a dangerous, dangerous spirit. So, because he danced so well, they followed him, he said, one night after a club, and they literally broke his legs with bats, right? And I don't know. He didn't tell me this, but I don't know. He may have been messing with somebody's woman. I don't know. But they broke his legs with bats, and then they literally injected him with, I think it was heroin. They injected him with something, and he became he went from extremely successful to full-blown crackhead or drug head or whatever overnight. Lost his family, lost his business. I'm talking about homeless, walking the streets crackhead. So there wasn't a choice for him, right? So it's not a choice for everybody. So I think he said he was tied up in that addiction for about 10 years. And he said one day, he went to the crack house, I guess, or wherever. He went to get he went to get some drugs. And he said that particular drug was he said it was like poison. It was like it's poison, but this hit was just like, it was about to take him out, literally. He just knew this was going to be the hit that took him out. And he said he heard the voice of God. He always knew God, right? And this I always tell people, just because somebody deal with addiction or alcoholism, stop judging folks because you got an addiction, you're going to hell. No, you're going to hell because you can't stop eating every 2 minutes. Lord, please forgive me, but I'm so annoyed with judgmental people. God, right? Someone emailed me that, well, never mind. But honey, Mr. Steve is up in heaven. Let me just tell you, that man gave his life to the Lord, honey. I felt and saw the demons left his body when I prayed up over him. Mr. Steve is in heaven. Say what you want. Keep letting this physical stuff fool you. Kizzy, back on the topic. So, told you gotta have a ADHD. I can't stay focused on one thing. So, he said he heard God say, this is going to be your last chance. This is going to be your last chance. I'm going to save you right now, but if you ever go back. And he never went back. He said that encounter was so freaking scary. Because I was asking him, I was like, well, the funny thing is people say like they literally just can't. It's the spirit is controlling their body. He's like, Kizzy, I'm going to tell you. I mean, listen, it's true. Like that spirit is so powerful. But this is why I believe it has to be. I'm not going to say things like AAA and all that stuff don't work, but I do believe God has to be in the midst of it, right? He has to be in the midst of it. You gotta, in whatever way, however way God finds you or you find God within that process, God has to be in the midst of it, as well as in addition, maybe AAA or any type of other drug rehabs, et cetera, but it's a lifelong process. And he got his life back successful. God returned everything double, in fact, right? So you can beat the addiction. It wasn't forced on you, so you picked it up, right? It was a choice. Again, you didn't know, I'm sure it would turn into an addiction, but it is. Now, it's an addiction. Why? Because your body is chemically dependent on it. This is why you have people who are on drugs or even alcoholism. They not everybody, but a lot of people go through the withdrawals. The minute you're no longer doing it, you're shaking, you're trembling, you got night sweats, you feel like somebody's literally about to just kill you, like, because your body is chemically dependent on it. This is why you just can't stop without the withdrawals. It is now an addiction. Full-blown addiction. I think if you have a conversation with most people in the world who struggle with addiction, they will tell you that they did not sign up to become an addict. It was something that progressed, etc., and it may always be, because from my understanding, once you're in alcoholism, you're always in alcoholism. You know, I met this guy, actually, well, never mind. My advice to you, sir, because it can go in different directions. First and foremost, ask God to step in. Ask God to step in and to give you grace and to give you strength to fight this addiction. Oh, you know what? Let's go. I'm sorry, guys. My dog is driving me insane right now. Oh, my goodness. To give you strength and grace to fight the addiction, right? Because you need power. You need strength to fight off the temptations. You need strength to tell your boys when they, oh, listen, I'm coming to get you this weekend. You can't go with them, right? Or y'all need to go fishing, right? Because speaking of that, you have to find something to replace the addiction. So because once you stop the addiction, it's still going to be like a void, if you will. So now you have to replace that with something positive. So rather than going to the strip club or wherever y'all got going on, right? Go fishing together, right? Go find something that you love to do, something leisure, and you have to replace it with that. As far as the physical thing, spiritually, again, is inviting God in to give you strength against this and that. The physical thing that I would advise is, one, don't try to do it on your own, because I know some people can cold turkey certain stuff, but with some addictions, especially like heroin and alcoholism, it can literally knock you into a seizure. People don't understand it. You got people who will tell people all the time, just stop drinking, just stop drinking, just stop drinking. Alcohol withdrawal is probably one of the most, I think it's second to heroin. Very, 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 very dangerous. So you have to be monitored. If you can afford, I don't know, like with your, Google alcohol help, free help, sliding scale help in your area, because there are some places who will literally help you for free, limited income, etc., because it can be very, very costly, I'm sure. And so be careful with that, because it can be a very dangerous thing. In addition to that, fast against the addiction. And see, this is why personally, like, I feel like we should fast against different things, not just food per se. Personally, when I'm called to a food fast, it's because God truly just want to empty me completely out so I can really hear clearly, and then I get more downloads. But then there's times where I'm required to fast against something, or even fast against a person. So try fasting against the alcohol. Let's just say you're drinking 10 drinks per day. I'm just saying, right? Okay. Drink 10 today, because you got to wean yourself from it versus cold turkey it. Tomorrow you drink 8. And trust me, your body is going to still want the 2, right? Tomorrow you want the 2 addition. No, you're going to have to be solidified in your confidence. Like, nope, 8 it is. The next day, 5. The next day, 3, and so on. And then when you get down to maybe like 1 per day or whatever, it'll be easier for you to keep fighting against that versus trying to just stop from 10 altogether. And that's just not alcohol. That's for you sweet lovers, things like that too. Start fasting against it. And when you start to fast against, and you may have to continue to repeat that, right? But eventually your body will be rid of it. So that's my advice to you. Next, I pray that you continue to heal, right? Because see, healing is going to be crucial in order for you to, combat this addiction, right? Because again, you're kind of just swimming in like this pool of regret. First, recognize that, listen, I mean, we're human. Nobody get it right. I'm not making any excuses for your behavior. Nobody gets it right all the time. right? Nobody gets it right all the time. So forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Keep healing. And once you heal, before you know it, God been sending you somebody, and you be like, I was sitting here sweating this chick. And this woman over here is like, I never even knew she existed. Like, oh, she is 50 times better than what I had, right? Or God may bring it back together. Sometimes God have to separate people, right? Even people who love each other, sometimes God have to separate people to work on each person individually. So if God's bringing us back together, then I'm sure you're going to really, really treasure, her when God brings her back. You're going to see things differently. You're going to do things right this time. But you got to just let God continue to work on you, right? Invite God into this addiction. Tell your homeboys you ain't got time to go to the strip club. You got to get your life together, sir. For purpose and calling. So I hope this helps you. I believe in you. I know you can do it. I've seen it many times done, right? And you are no different. You are enough. You are chosen, and you are a conqueror. It's your girl, Kizzy I.